And we'll recall to the open session. Jackie, roll call.
Kristen Bailey. Here. Nick Atwood.
Here.
Steve Byers.
Here.
Jose Lopez.
Here.
Christopher Boyce.
Here.
Mark Sherrod.
Here.
Ante Bynum. Here. And Maria Bello Rodriguez.
All right. And we'll now do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, and now moving on to public comment. Members of the public who wish to speak to the board should complete a request card prior to the start of the meeting. This section of the meeting will be reserved for comments from the public. All comments should be limited to 3 minutes. Criticism of individuals is not in order. First, we have Katie Huber to talk about the importance of early learning opportunities.
All right. Good evening, everybody. I'm back. So I was here a couple weeks ago and spoke on behalf of ELDC just the importance of making sure that we're being collaborative in this process. And tonight we kind of put together a little thing about the importance of early childhood ed. So one of the things is this area really lacks quality early learning opportunities for our families. We need, this is why I'm here, to expand ELDC, right? That's what we're wanting to see happen. Expand to our families. There's a number of studies that show students who have access to the quality early learning opportunities have greater outcomes and are more productive members of society. This is shown through higher graduation rates, overall better general health, and lower crime rates. They're less likely to be part of our judicial system. Science has shown that 90% of our brain is developed by the age of 5. 90% by 5. We get most of our students at 5, so think about that. When a child is exposed to varied language, opportunities to play and interact with same-age peers, in different environments, so outside of the home environments, as highlighted in quality early education programs, they can build more connections within their brains that contribute to a stronger foundation for future learning and success. These connections can contribute to stronger academic skills, including vocabulary, math, and positive social relationships. So those are just some few things about the importance, and we will be back to continue to share more, but 90% of our brain is developed by the time we're 5. So giving our families that opportunity in a quality program is vital for making sure they're successful. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and the next public comment is Stephanie Jorzik.
Hi, my name is Stephanie Jorzak. I'm a kindergarten teacher for the district. And I was asked to come this evening and speak to the benefits of having early childhood learning opportunities for our students. So, give me just a second, I have a list. Because I had to write down all of my thoughts, and I collaborated with the other teachers that I work with in kindergarten. So having opportunities for early learning prior to coming to us in kindergarten, it enhances their language and communication, which I believe Katie shared. They learn how to conversate back and forth and take turns speaking, listening, following directions. They have curiosities. Their brains are ignited and they are wondering about learning and all of the different things and the way to grow, how things work, how to make things work, and how to continue to learn. It socializes our students. So they're learning how to work with others, patience, taking turns, cooperation, and all of these SEL skills that they learn at programs like ELDC come to us in the kindergarten level. So when we start to work with them, we're hitting the ground running and we're working on things like these are school-wide expectations for our entire district. We also have independent skills and their bathroom needs. I know that sounds crazy, right? But when they come to us in kindergarten, going into a bathroom by themselves, shutting the door and taking care of all of their needs can be very scary to a little person. Having the opportunity to be at ELDC, they're able to practice those skill sets and they encourage others. This isn't scary. We can go in and you can do it. It's gonna be okay. Clothing needs, zipping their own jackets, putting on shoes. Believe it or not, being in a classroom with 24 little people, having 48 feet, going to PE and trying to change gym shoes prior to walking down the hallway, that's a huge undertaking. And I know you think, I just slip my shoes on, that's not that hard. But when you're 5 and your little fingers are trying to figure out how to get your shoes on, that is a big deal. And then pre-academics, things like pencil grip, learning to sit and write and hold paper and pencils and crayons, learning how to manipulate things like scissors and glue. All of those things play into all of the academics that we teach, and then they in turn teach each other. So it's not just something they keep to themselves, it's something they share, right? And so it becomes cooperative learning opportunities. So I'd just like you to consider that when you think about ELDC and the programs that we're offering. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Catherine Norris, also to speak on ELDC.
Hi, my name is Catherine. I have been a resident of DeKalb quite nearly my entire existence. I'm here today to speak to my experiences with ELDC and the profoundly positive impact they have had on my family. Both of my children and multiple nephews have attended ELDC in the past. My daughter was the first of my family to attend, and I am so happy with that decision and experience. As she was and is what some might call a typically developing child, some might expect that her and our experience was pretty neutral. I completely disagree. While she may have experienced supposedly less benefits than others, she still received countless gains. To watch my child go from shy to wildly confident, supportive, and an encouraging friend makes me unbelievably proud. To say that ELDC was the start of her love of education and advocacy is a wild understatement. This child still carries around a picture of herself with her ELDC teachers to school every day. Her experience was a catalyst for our family. When my son joined a couple years later, I had no idea the impact his experience would bring to him. My son was the lucky class to join kindergarten during COVID. And if by lucky you mean that this was one of the most difficult years of our lives, then yes, you would be correct. Having previously attended ELDC, he was better able to enter this strange new world of education with a little more understanding of the expectations of him. If he had not already had that connection, I'm not sure we would have made it through that school year. While this student may not have the love of traditional education we all hope for, he has thrived and succeeded in challenges that you and I will never experience. And last but not least, there are not many better examples to how great ELDC is than my nephew. When my nephew first joined ELDC, it was through speech services. For all intents and purposes, he was nonverbal. Barely 6 months after joining, this kid started talking and hasn't stopped talking since. I mean, he went from barely saying mom to pachycephalosaurus. And the way his teachers went above and beyond to learn about his special interest of Godzilla, not many people might know about skull crawlers, but we all did. This amazing dude, who is loved by all who meets him, has made so many gains in his life, they cannot be contained by a simple list. He would not be who he is today and have not had the academic success he has without ELDC. Some may believe that preschool is unimportant and not to be taken seriously, but I would argue you aren't looking deep enough or past your own misconceptions. I don't have to look further than my own front nose to know that letting children have access to early childhood education, especially ELDC, is worth more than its weight in gold.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And our final comment of the evening comes from Kevin Boland about middle school class size.
Hello, everybody. First, I would like to thank this board and our previous boards for taking the time and the effort into addressing elementary class sizes by opening up Mitchell Elementary this week. As we're wrapping up that process, it's time for us to look forward to what are we going to do with our middle schools. Clinton, Rosette, and Huntley are both towards their capacity. And as of right now, we have carved out spaces for offices, we've carved out spaces for classrooms, we've moved classrooms, our choir class into our auditorium. We need space. ELDC is a great part of our community and we love having them in our building, but we need the rooms that they're there. So what I'm asking is that this board starts to explore our next phase of facility upgrades and look towards creating a world-class space for them and then expanding our programming out so that we have the room at the middle school to do the things we need to do with our new programs coming up with two-way dual language and to be the best that we can be. Thank you.
Thank you. Having no other public comments, we will move on to board correspondence. So I'm going to start off. First thing I guess I'll go into, I know we have two things that we really need to discuss this evening. Now, we've got a decent amount of things that, are on the agenda for the new business. So I am wondering, would we want to get consensus to have the discussion about those two things towards the end of the board meeting so that we don't make everyone who is here for other agenda items stay through what could be two longer discussions? So would it be okay with moving the St. Mary's discussion and discussion about roundabouts to the end of the meeting kind of agenda so that we can make sure they can give their presentations and go home in a timely manner as they prepare for the new school year? All right. So that was kind of the first thing. Now, board correspondence wise, just to talk with you guys real quickly, is I just want to take a moment to actually apologize to the rest of the board. I know when I came on, one of my really big promises to all of you was that you were going to have communication from me and you would know what was going on. I don't feel that I upheld that for you guys within especially this last month. So I just wanted to take a moment to apologize to you guys and ask that you can give me the grace to kind of start new and make sure we're having that communication going forward. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Do we have any other board correspondence?
Since the time period for apologies is happening right now, I would like to apologize to Dr. Minerva Sanchez Garcia, the high school, and the other board members because I said I was going to be at the summer school graduation and a conflict came up, so I could not. It was all on me, so I apologize.
Any other correspondence?
I'm very excited for this new school year. Please take my children.
All right. Hearing nothing else from the rest of the board, Maria, did you have anything for student board correspondence?
Sure. The mini board had some summer meetings and we started talking about some projects we might be interested in doing for the next school year. And I'm just getting a hold of everything and figuring everything out. So I'm very excited to go on to that journey with all of you guys.
All right. Next item is the consent agenda. Before we get into it, are there any questions about any items before we dive into voting on it?
Can I remove one for separate vote?
Are we looking for a separate vote because we want just additional discussion or because we are planning to, I guess, vote differently on it than the rest of consent
I'm
agenda?
gonna vote differently.
Okay. Which item would you like
This
to
would
remove?
be item F.
All right. So we can remove item F from consent agenda. Thus forward. Does anyone else have any questions, comments before I ask for a motion? All right, not hearing that. As recommended, the Board of Education approve consent agenda items 5B through 5J with the exclusion of item F, which is July 15th, 2025 board meetings, personnel action items, purchase order requisitions, NIU agreement for the DeKalb Sycamore football game, the Stepping Stones Group Psychologist Service Agreement, Stepping Stones Group Bilingual School Psychologist, acceptance of gifts and donations from Kelly Williamson's company, and Northwestern Medicine Community Benefit Grant. Now, for those last two, I do just want to take a moment to just also thank them. So the first one is going to be to Kelly Williamson's company. They're donating $500 to Malta Elementary School for the purpose of purchasing math materials. And to Northwestern, who has graciously donated $50,000 to the school district so that we can start to upgrade our AED machines. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All right, Jackie, the roll call.
Nick Atwood,
Yes.
Steve Byers,
Yes.
Jose Jaquez,
Yes.
Christopher Boyce,
Yes.
Mark Charbet,
Yes.
Dante Bynum,
Yes.
Kristen Bailey.
Yes.
All right, and now for item F that was pulled from the consent agenda. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the attached employment contract for the 25-26 school year. Do we have any discussion before we ask for a motion?
No discussion.
All right. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Jackie, could you do the roll call?
Mark Charbet,
Abstain.
Dante Bynum,
Yes.
Kristen Bailey,
Yes.
Nick Atwood,
Yes.
Steve Byers,
Yes.
Jose Jaquez,
Yes.
Christopher Boyce.
Yes. All right, moving on to presentations. We have Athletic Director Peter Goff here to discuss the strategic athletic plan for their 5-year plan.
Which one did you say? I didn't hear you.
For the district athletic strategic plan and 5-year plan, it's everything.
Look, they told me it was up here, so I will start with the strategic plan, yes? Well, thank you for taking time, it's the first time I've addressed this board, so thank you so much for taking time out. Been a very busy summer, a lot of things moving and shaking in the athletic world for our district, so very happy for that. But Dr. Garcia Sanchez and I have had meetings throughout the whole year last year, developing these, a strategic plan, and then coming up with a 5-year plan to move out and see where we're at. Yes, I have 2 years left until I retire, but like we talked about in our meetings, we talked about legacy, we talked about leaving blueprints for people who are going to pick it up after I'm gone. And we're losing our assistant athletic director after this year. So we just wanted to have things in place, so if the people following us are ready, and they could kind of keep expanding onto the things that we have done already here at DeKalb, with the backing of the board, the former sports boosters and the new sports boosters that we have going. A lot of great things are going to happen for not just the students through the middle school and up, but we're gonna start reaching out, hopefully with the 5-year plan, to reach down and get things into the grade schools. Because 90%, I'm so happy I heard that today. So I have grandkids and I'm sitting there going, ooh, one, man, I gotta work on that kid. But we're moving on with him, because he's crazy. But we're really excited about the things, and I guess you've had time to look it over, and instead of go through, does anyone have any questions on what we have put down on paper for the district? With the strategic plans, with the core values, as you can see, we use the acronym BARBs to come out. We talked about, belonging, adversity, resilience, behavior, supportive, just a lot of things that we really, really strive to try to make better for our student athletes and the people who are in the clubs as well. And then we had our goals and the long-range goals, and we attached them to the strategic goals for the district as well. So it kind of all goes in line. That kind of cover the strategic plan and the 5-year plan. Does anyone have any questions with our 5-year plan?
So I guess just quickly under the athletic department strategic plan, I know there was 2 informational meetings for the Booster Club. Have we established a new executive committee for that board?
After we heard everything was going down, and I know it was in the midweek today, I read it, for some reason, I pulled it up and I was looking through it, and the article was in there today. We had 2 great meetings. We did one in the morning and then one in the afternoon, or in the evening. I think we had around 40 or 50 people, great turnout. Then whoever wanted to run for, I was advised that we needed to start it up, we needed the president, secretary, and the treasurer. Those three people met with they met today to try to get through and start, we're looking for FMBO people. We have premiere night in 3 or 2 weeks from this Thursday. So they're getting those committees together. So yes, it's come together. As I stated in the paper, the support was overwhelming and people were coming out. So I think we're in good hands with who we have on the board, the temporary. We had to do it temporary, and then when we get into the school year, we'll run a meeting to where those people can go up and be elected as the executive board. So yes, it's moving forward with a lot of support. Anything with that?
In regards to the athletic department plan, I know we currently use Northwestern as the contracts for athletic trainers.
Yep.
Do you, and if you don't have the answer, that's okay, but offhand, do you know what those typically cost us annually for a trainer from Northwestern?
From Northwestern, it comes installments, and I've been here for 7 years. I think, 7,000. I don't know the number right off the top of my head, but we do make those installments. I can look back and get back to you on that.
Nope, that's okay.
But we used to have a full-time, well, not a full-time trainer, a stipend trainer, and he moved on. And now we're looking for that to try to get, we're kind of following, I looked around all over the state. In Yorkville, I know their athletic director, he goes, this is what we use. They have two. The alternative, it's not like when we were in school, the summer is pretty much done. We're there all the time. Today, this week is when sports are no longer, but we have, I think, over 100 kids out in band camp right now. So we need those trainers in our building. So they would, if you looked at it, they would come in like at noon, kids that could come get some treatment during lunch or something like that. So we could, kind of get things moving that way. They'd staggered, they'd be there during the summer, because I don't know how many of you drive by the summer, but it's pretty much packed all the time. And that's good, because the busier you are, the better you are, and the more and I think we alluded it, stay out of trouble. So that's the best thing that we, just like the band, Mr. Lundin called me and goes, hey, there's a bunch of soccer kids here, do you want them? And I said, yes, they can play, but make sure they go out in the south field. That's good that they use our places throughout the district as a, safe place to go and be active. So that's what, when I first started here, we were around 1,700 students. We're up 22. With the help with Dr. Garcia Sanchez, we've put in girls flag football, one of the girls wrestling. We're gonna do boys volleyball this year. We've went from the Northern Illinois Big 12, which had 12 teams, where we only, we have 11 teams. Those are 22 games home and away. Now we're in the DVC where we have 6. We only have 5 teams, so that's 10 at the most. And like in basketball, you have 35 games. You got to find all those non-conference. So with the assistant athletic director that I have now, he comes in after he's done teaching. If we can get a full-time assistant, then that's going to make things a lot more easier for everybody, and we can, make sure that all sports are getting taken care of, which they do now, but we can do a little bit more of being strategic on who we want to bring in for non-conference. Because in football right now, with the DVC, like we're meeting on Thursday, we think week 3, we cannot find anybody for week 3 and week 4. We can, but some other schools can't. We're gonna talk to a conference in Michigan to see if we can do a crossover, just so those teams, so we can have games for us, because it's hard to find those non-conference games.
Thank you.
Does anyone else have any? Yep.
Do we have any numbers for the 5-year plan in terms of, it's probably hard to estimate into 27, 28, and 28, 29, but for 26, 27, as far as cost difference, the additional cost? I don't see a sum, I see individual line items.
We have them for, I think we just, We put those in for 26, 27, but no, we have not went out from 27, 28.
Right.
But I can work on that and get back to you with that.
I'm just looking for a general summary with everything, if everything goes forward in terms of,
Amir,
I don't know if our mayor has that.
Amir's the money guy.
Yeah, he is.
Yes. So in the document, it is written, what's the actual new hires. But it is not taking into account, what we will be saving, but by removing the contract athletic trainers, removing the current assistant athletic director, which is actually at the higher level because of the experience points. So it's only showing, what would be a full-time, assistant athletic director, hiring in-district athletic trainers, and then a differential change. So in the next years, those differentials, we'll get a new contract with DCTA, so those numbers it will be difficult to project right now, but we can give some form of idea.
Just
what it would be
approximate.
on this, on the current rates that we have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Peter,
Yeah, you still gotta talk to us about,
you got 7 more to go.
Oh, what else do I need to go with? I just thought this, what else we have?
oh, well, I guess actually we do old business and then we jump back to Peter. So you can sit down for a little bit.
You bamboozled me.
Sit right there.
All right, so moving on to old business. First one is item A, approve the fiscal year 25-26 tentative budget and set public hearing for September 16th of 2025. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the fiscal year 25-26 tentative budget for that display in September 16th. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Jackie, roll call.
Steve Byers,
Yes.
Jose Jacquez,
Yes.
Christopher Boyce,
Yes.
Mark Shabbat,
Yes.
Van Bynum,
Yes.
Kristen Bailey,
Yes.
Nick Atwood.
Yes.
Moving on to item B, it is recommended the Board of Education approve the Press Plus 119 as attached. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Jackie, the roll call.
Jose Jacquez,
Yes.
Christopher Boyce,
Yes.
Mark Shabbat,
Yes.
Van Bynum,
Yes.
Kristen Bailey,
Yes.
Nick Atwood,
Yes.
Steve Byers.
Yes.
All right, and on 8A, if I'm not mistaken, Tammy, we do not have any updates besides the fact that the school's opening this week. All right, so moving on to new business. Peter, you get to come back.
Let's see.
Item A is the DHS Girls Volleyball Tournament in Champaign Central High School. This is information only.
Yes, they're going to play in the tournament and they will be staying the night, so that's why we brought it up. We pay for the entry fee and they raise money to pay for the hotel and for meals.
Okay, any questions? Hearing no questions, item B, Girls Varsity Wrestling Tournament, Dan Gable, Donnie Brooks Tournament. Oh, do we have a consensus to bring that back?
Yes.
I actually have a question.
Oh.
Yes,
So you said that we're gonna pay for the entry fee. And the district will not be,
they fundraise for their stuff.
right,
Yes,
the district will not be responsible for the hotels and the meals.
correct.
So the total financial impact to the district is only $250.
Yes,
Okay.
we do, okay. It's good. They raise a lot of money during break, so,
That's perfect. I'm just clarifying what's on here.
Yep.
yep.
All right, so consensus to bring this back.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, item B, Girls Varsity Wrestling Tournament, Dan Gable, Donnie Brooks. This is information.
Same thing. We pay for the entry fee, they pay for everything else.
All right, do we have consensus to bring this back?
Yes.
All right, item C. Same thing but for the boys, information.
Same thing.
All right, do we have consensus?
Yes.
All right, D, Girls Varsity Wrestling Tournament, Wonder Woman. This is information as well.
Same thing.
All right, do we have consensus?
Yes.
All right, Boys Varsity Wrestling, Cheesehead Tournament. This is information.
That's in Wisconsin,
Okay.
and it's the same thing. They,
Will you
yes,
bring us cheese from it?
I'll be there tomorrow.
Do we have consensus?
Yes.
All right. Item F, DHS Boys Varsity Wrestling Witchlatch Tournament. This is information.
That is to Hinsdale, another big, in-state tournament that they go in, wrestle kinda late till like 9, 10 o'clock at night, have to be there the next morning, so they stay the night. Same thing, we pay entry and they pay for everything else.
All right. Do we have consensus to bring this back?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, and G, DHS Boys Varsity Golf Tournament, Metamora Golf Invite. This is also information.
Same thing, very prestigious tournament in the state. They invited to come down. We pay for the entry fees and they pay for everything else.
All right, do we have consensus to bring this back?
Yes.
All right, Peter, you're out of the hot seat.
All right, thank you so much.
Item H, Behavior Solutions, a practical roadmap for behavior success in all tiers, and this is being presented to us by Principal Talich, Assistant Principal Ben Erickson, and Director of Teaching and Learning Billy Wermo.
All right, I don't think I'm gonna get away with the same thing here on this. But I will tell you, it's not a cost to the district. We'll be using 10038 Title I funds and also teacher vacancy grant because some of the teachers are looking to attend this professional development. As you know, Lincoln is a designated school, that's why we get that 10038 money. Ben and Jen put their heads together with their school improvement team and they are requesting to go to this professional development so that they can better train their staff on some strategies in working with not just tier 1, but 2 and some 3 as well. I'll let them go ahead and present it.
So hi, I'm Ben Erickson. I'm the assistant principal at Lincoln Elementary. This is actually my first time getting a chance to talk with the board and present. So thank you so much for having me here. And this is
Jennifer Talich, principal at Lincoln, and I am trying to continue to grow the leadership at our buildings, so he is going to be presenting tonight.
So the conference that we'd like to attend is called Behavior Solutions. It's actually put on by Solution Tree, which is the same company that we've used to help train our admin and staff on the PLC process. So we've continued to use that company for a lot of different PD opportunities. So it's a really trusted company. They do a really good job. This conference will help us to learn how to look at our behavior data and then create an action plan that really focuses on prevention, intervention, and remediation. So they'll help us define behavior trends and then create learning academies to help address those skill deficits that students might have. And these learning academies will be used at a tier 1 level, like in a whole class setting where teachers can instruct whole classes. We'll use it at a tier 2 level where we'll pull small groups with kids that have similar skill deficits to be able to train them up. And then we'd also use it at a tier 3 level to provide like kind of more one-on-one and individual support for students. Now, these strategies that will be taught at this training will help us to really reduce the amount of exclusionary discipline measures that would remove students from the learning environment and then thus lead to learning loss. So we're really excited about that. It's not a replacement for our current MTSS plan or our MTSS-B structure. They mentioned in the training that this structure and these strategies really can be used with any SEL or behavior plan or initiative. It's really well researched, it's evidence-based, and it's shown really great results for schools that have implemented those strategies. So we'd like to bring our 2 building administrators from Lincoln, so Jennifer Talich and myself. We'd also like to bring 2 teachers, our MTSS coaches. That way we can put our heads together once we get back and figure out a way to implement this in a whole school level. And we would also like to bring Sarah Bates, our district's social emotional learning coordinator. So it's in Houston, Texas on September 15th and 16th. So we're asking the board's approval to travel out of state. So the conference is currently not offered in Illinois on any of their tour schedules. So that's why we're trying to get to go to this particular professional development. We also will be using our school improvement grant, so we're not needing any additional money. This is kind of something that we felt as a team that would be beneficial for our staff and our students, and so that's what we would like to use that money for. Are there any questions?
I have a question. I'm curious why, sorry, maybe you can explain this, what is the benefit from sending all of these people from Lincoln? I'm wondering how might this extend to other schools that are having similar challenges?
We're hoping that it'll be a train-the-trainer process so that we're able to come back as a team and then look at our SIP goal, which is we have an SEL goal that focuses directly on that. then train our staff throughout the year, create a plan that would implement during PLCs, during staff meetings, continuing to bring that back. And then we can present things at our admin level to share out with our other administrators that have, some have dabbled in this, but they haven't fully embraced all the concepts. We're still trying to understand everything that will entail. But we just wanna build our toolbox. Like, I've been in a principal position for 18 years, and the changes of behaviors that students are coming with, we need to find new ways to capture them and make sure that they will want to engage in the classroom and stay in the classroom and find alternatives for in-school suspension and out-of-school suspension. Especially at the elementary level, it is imperative that they get that base knowledge there so they can continue to grow.
And I would add too, it's the other reason why we did want to bring Sarah Bates along, so that we can kind of roll this out potentially at a district level, if that seems like something that would fit with other buildings' needs.
I'm wondering whether it might, be more beneficial to bring people from different, elementary education, schools, to collaborate and think through, I guess the sorts of issues, like, do we need 4 people from the same school? I get it, like, I ideally, right?
Yeah, so the
When the
one-
cost is so.
The ones that the school improvement money is specifically for Lincoln staff, so that's
How
why.
much of that is the school improvement money? I guess that's what I wasn't.
Yeah, the majority of it is,
All of it. The
minus.
tier 1 stuff is
Yeah,
specific.
minus the teacher portion would, whatever school improvement doesn't pay, the
Okay.
teacher vacancy grant would pay for the teachers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, that's helpful to know.
Yeah, it's just specific to.
Specific to Lincoln.
Correct,
Yeah, it's part of our designation funds that we get, and because our SIP goals are designed around improving in those designated areas and making sure that all our students are being impacted by it, this is one thing that we were able to identify through our data last year that we could embrace and continue to grow in.
Yep, but great question, because we will definitely utilize them during principal and AP meetings to share that out with the rest of the buildings.
All right, does anyone else
Any
have?
other questions?
Hearing none, do we have the consensus to bring this back?
Yes.
All right, thank you guys.
Thanks, guys.
And last item in new agenda is an MOU with Kishwaukee Family YMCA. This is coming to us as info in action. The reason is obviously for Kishwaukee to do after school services and stuff with us, they need to have this MOU in place. School starts next week, so we gotta get this approved.
So we've been working on this since April, May. Going back and forth with our attorneys, with the YMCA attorneys. Shauna's been helping quite a bit, Eric from the YMCA. We have been working with the YMCA 20+ years, and we haven't had an MOU in place. It's good to have an MOU in place because the liabilities at both ends, it just keeps us in a safe place on both ends, right? So we have now this contract that we have and we've come to an agreement on. The biggest thing was they were using Transvac for transportation for our students on the south side, and they were paying a daily rate to Transvac. Now we've worked out a partnership with them where we are gonna use First Student, but they're gonna be paying us and reimbursing us for the First Student cost. So that's something that we have in there. They will be located at Malta and Cortland. All other students will be bused over to the YMCA before and after school. What questions do you have?
Are we getting a more favorable rate by switching to using First Student as the provider for those routes?
Are we giving or are we getting?
Like is the rate from First Student better than with Transvac? Cause I guess my concern is I know bus routes is something we're working on.
Yep.
So adding additional routes,
Yep. So it's the same cost, but they're getting a better service in that Transvac could only transfer the students, First Student could transfer the students at Brooks, Jefferson, and Little John, but they had to go every single day. Now, regardless if they go 3 days, 2 days, 5 days, we're gonna be able to provide transportation for them At the elementary, we have a system where you know who's a bus rider, who's a walker, who's gonna stay after. If we have CLC in the building, we have all that in place. So really, they're gonna get a better service for the same price. What we did let them know is that if Mitchell does not have a regular sized bus that's not specialized transportation, that we'd have to come back and discuss if it was gonna be an additional fee for a third bus, and they were okay with that.
And just to be clear, who's paying for the transportation?
The YMCA.
Thank you.
Bill, you said we've been doing this for how many years without an MOU?
Yeah, Eric said 20 plus.
So never agreed on insurance and policies and stuff for everything that's in this MOU now?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
But we're getting things in place now, so
Absolutely.
better late than never, right?
Any other questions? Hearing no further questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Jackie, roll call.
Christopher Boyce,
Yes.
Mark Sherbat,
Yes.
Dante Bynum,
Yes.
Kristen Bailey. Abstain. Nick Atwood,
Yes.
Steve Byers,
Yes.
Jose Jaquez.
Yes.
Thank you.
Right. That brings us to the end of new business, so we'll have the superintendent's update from Dr. Garcia Sanchez.
I'll be very brief. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming, for those of you that are walking away. I just want to make sure, not trying to call you out or anything, but thank you so much for coming. Is that there's one thing I just want to say today before the ribbon cutting. First and foremost, we had an awesome 2 days with our principals, assistant principals, and deans, and our cabinet. All of us were together for 2 consecutive days, a lot of professional development, a lot of learning, and I know it seems overwhelming, so I really appreciate everybody for sticking around and doing that work. But understanding why that work is imperative to what we do each and every day, especially with school just about getting ready to start. I want to take a moment to thank Cabinet for leading that work, for making sure that all of our folks have what they need to be able to do the work that they need to do, and to continue to be a good resource for our schools. And having said that, I just want to additionally add Sebastian, who's hiding over there, who always supports us with all the work behind cameras and all kinds of ways to do some of the things that we're doing that really helps us to build up our schools. And now, with the ribbon cutting and the opening of Mitchell Elementary School, Dr. Leroy A. Mitchell Elementary School, as Maurice was here, that's how he would say it. I wanted to take a moment to thank a number of individual people. Tammy Carson, for all the work that she's done to make it happen for us on time, under budget, ahead of time, excuse me, and under budget. And it looks phenomenal, so thank you for all that work. And I know I can get on your nerves sometimes, but I really appreciate everything you've been learning. Ben, of course, who's done a phenomenal job making sure our technology is getting ready and set up there. I have no words for Rita Elliott. I just think everybody's gonna cry on Friday and on Saturday. They're just gonna cry. She's done a phenomenal job in getting us ready for the ribbon cutting and for the open house and all of those great things. Everyone across the back there, from Billy, Kyle, Amanda Cornett, Amir, everybody, Deetra, Jackie, I know I'm not naming somebody, Amir. Everybody has had a hand in opening this school. Everybody has had a hand in doing the hard work this summer. Some of us didn't get to go on our usual vacations because we were doing the things that we needed to get done. So I am very appreciative for all that hard work and all of the things that I know, the fruits of the labor that are about to get started as the new school year starts. So I really appreciate everything you've done to get us ready to open up. Okay, so thank you to everybody. I know Matt's not here, and he's working on all of our emergency operation plans and our security plans and all those wonderful key things that he talked about yesterday. So that's it for me. We're gonna have a great day. First grade through 12th grade starts when? August 13th, on time and ready to go. We'll be at, some of us will be at the buildings ringing the bell, having you invited into the building. Marilena, we'll see you at the high school, right? Yay! And everybody else will see you out there. Don't be late, first day, August 13th, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Garcia Sanchez. So kind of, we have two things that we can still kind of discuss at this point, because at this point, one is we need to figure out a response on, the city is awaiting a response on the roundabout over by Clinton Rosette and kind of how we as a district would like to proceed with that conversation. So if you wouldn't mind, Dr. Garcia Sanchez, could you kind of give us just the background on how we got to kind of this, where we're now?
Sure. First, there's actually two roundabouts that we would need to discuss. But the first one is the roundabout over by Elwood House, where it turns into Sycamore Road and First Street. It's like a little Y that goes around, and you either go, veer over to the right or you keep going straight. You don't know if you should go straight or not, depending if you're new to the area or whatever. That area is being considered for a roundabout. It would encroach a little bit of our land in order to be able to do a full round, but I know that we're still up for conversation around that. I think what's important is that we had some discussion around the safety of what that would look like, what big picture items would be. I'm actually going to ask Tammy to step up to give us a little bit more of the technical components of what that roundabout is and what we would be asking the city to do for us in relation to the Hawks and a couple of other things that we felt were needed in order to be safe for our students.
We've had some discussions with the city, and I know the letter will follow up on this, but the Hawk system that Dr. Garcia Sanchez is referencing is a traffic signal that would, if a pedestrian is coming across we are recommending the north lane, north of the traffic light, to the east of the traffic light, towards Sycamore Road, or in south of the traffic light, so that no matter where a pedestrian might be, if they push the button, it would start flashing to tell traffic at all areas of that circle to stop. Now, it's just a flashing light. There's nothing that actually barricades and stops them, but it would provide a level of safety that we think is necessary at all three of those points, rather than just one. Because we also feel like the pedestrians are not only our students, but our families and neighbors, and there won't always be a crossing guard there. We are also requesting some form of reimbursement as it relates to the cost of the crossing guards that will be necessary there, because there will be, I believe it was 2 that we're recommending for that intersection or that roundabout, so that we can cross our students safely, because again, new area going around in a circle, we're a little bit concerned at how the drivers will react to that. Those 2 things. Another thing that was being requested is the barrier from between the circle of the roundabout, where the vehicles would be, the sidewalk, where the pedestrians would walk, and our property. Because our Clinton Rosette students do have outside activity time during lunches, sometimes before school they're out there. There's a soccer goal out there where those students are. And we do have concerns based on the traffic and the speeds that could be going, that if there were an accident and a vehicle did go off the roadway, we want an additional barrier there to prevent the vehicle from going into our grass and into the areas where our students could be. We also have to think about our wonderful winters around here, and if there were any sliding going on, how that could happen if they slid onto our property for the safety of our students. So those were the primary things that we were looking at. There may have been a couple other minor things, but those were the primary things that were included in our discussion with the city, as well as the letter that's being prepared.
Thank you. So we did have concerns around the safety and security of our folks as they were crossing. And therefore, I know that Amir has worked very closely with our attorney, not just currently on that one roundabout. The second roundabout that's coming, that we just found out about yesterday, is also going to be in discussion with that attorney. So I don't quite have all of the details for that roundabout at this moment. We are gathering details as we speak, actually. Amir, is there anything that you would want to add regarding the roundabout over at Clinton Rosette?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Are you at liberty to say where the second one even is?
I also just want to throw out, Maria, it is getting late. If you need to go home and get ready for the school year, you may.
You give us the eye. You give us
You
the eye
can
when you're
stay,
ready.
we just want to make sure you know you can leave.
Okay, thank you.
Regarding the roundabout, it's the city, well, one we were talking about, the Elwood House roundabout. It seems to me like the city is going full force ahead with this when they said originally they were just considering the idea. So it almost sounds to me like they've made at least they're leaning toward doing this. I've heard nothing from the public about any positives about this. The public is, at least that I talked to, thinks this is one of the lousiest ideas ever. So those safety concerns tug very deeply. We need to definitely iron all this stuff out and make sure our thoughts are conveyed to the city from this board and, either individually or as a board, so.
Well, I know that in speaking to the city manager, he's very clear about what our concerns are. The letter that we have drafted that the attorney has actually drafted for us, and that you have read, is the reason that it's written the way that it is. And that really does show what each and all of us care. So I always share information like this with cabinet so that they can give us feedback. Sarah Montgomery, and along with Amir and a few other folks, and Tammy and Matt, actually went out with the attorney to the space and walked it with the city manager to talk about what those issues were. So it wasn't like we're just doing it from here. We are being realistic about those things. I haven't heard fully about yes or no that they're going through with it, but informing them of what our thoughts are would definitely make sure that they understand where we stand, right? And if it were to one day move forward, what our concerns are and what the expectations would be. My job is to ensure that we are mitigating anything that would happen in a negative way, and that we're putting all of the children and their families in a safe place. Alongside of the mere fact that how long it would actually take to put something like that together, and even the insurances that those construction companies would have to have assurance to even get those things done on time. And, there's just a lot of variations of the things that are happening that's kind of overwhelming to be able to get done in such a short period of time.
Right, and we all know how the South First Bridge Street project went. It was not even close to being on time, so that's a huge concern.
So I have a question. Chris, where do we stand with the letter? Because I know that's what I've been waiting for responses on. I am not comfortable at all with the status of the letter. I don't think that it is ready to pose any sort of argument that holds water for the city, and I think,
I think, at least, and this is just obviously my opinion, I think we just need to scale it back in how we're doing it. I think it's much easier to just do more, which we kind of did, just bullet points that it's like, hey, we'd be looking for reimbursement for this. And just make sure that it's a conversational tone, like, hey, we want to support your roundabout, but these are some of our concerns. And I think one thing that we need to avoid, and I know the word safety has been thrown around a lot, at the end of the day, you can look across the entire globe. There's not a single place where statistics have ever shown a roundabout was a dangerous option to put in. Now, I understand what we mean, that there is concern that, roundabouts are still very new to Americans. We don't necessarily know how to, even pedestrian-wise, navigate them. So I understand the concern, we're like, are our littles going to know what to do? But just the natural way that it exists, it forces people to slow down because it comes into a point. People naturally are going to slow down their cars. I don't think we're gonna see NASCAR donuts going, we might at night, but we're not gonna have that in the middle of the day where people, I was just at that intersection the other day and watched someone blow right through the red light and almost get T-boned. That stoplight didn't stop it either. So I don't wanna say that either option is safe or unsafe. I think that our asks, though, are all reasonable. I think it's reasonable to say, hey, while everyone figures this out, we need crossing guards there to make sure our kids are safe is reasonable. To have Hawk units deployed there so that our students are gonna be safe when they cross, reasonable. So I think that every request we're asking for makes sense, even that they give us fair market value if they need to cut into our land. That is our land, we have a right to it. It's not the city's land, we have a right to ask for compensation for it. I think it's just how we make the ask.
Then we need to, I think we need to approach it differently.
Yeah. So is that something, Kristen, since I know that's more your background, would you be okay kind of going through, figuring out what we like, don't like, just coming up with maybe just a draft to send
Yeah.
back that then we could review?
Yeah.
Is that,
So I'm just so I'm clear, I'm sorry. So we'll take that draft, redraft it, and then the board will move forward with that without going back to the attorney?
I would say to me that seems, as long as we're not changing the base content of the message.
Which would, well, we'd be removing.
Yeah, cause we're more just scaling
Saying,
back.
if you're doing this, if you're doing this, here's what we're asking. Because if we're making claims about safety with nothing to ground those claims, other than this seems like it would be unsafe, I think that we don't, I just don't think that that's.
I guess I'll ask, does anyone on the board think that any of the asks are unreasonable or not things we want to ask the city for?
I don't find them
No,
unreasonable.
I think they're all reasonable. My concern is, can the city come and take this land from the district? Can they use eminent domain to take the land that the district owns on the school property? They're gonna need it for this roundabout.
Pretty sure they can try.
They can try. They've said that they would not be using eminent domain, but that would have to be the way they go if this district decides not to allow them to take this land.
So I guess
I'm
that's
not
the
in favor of
question,
it.
are we pushing against it, or are we making requests? And I think that maybe helps
And-
answer your question.
At least in my conversations with individuals on the city's side, I think we just have to approach it conversationally and be like, hey, these are the things that we really need to make this equitable for both sides in this equation. Cause I don't think any of us in this room are wanting to be combative towards the city and what the city's looking to do. I mean, none of us want to do that, but it is a matter of, hey, this has to make sense for all parties involved. We can't just let the city do what the city wants and let them step on the district to do so. Because we have to protect our interests as a district first.
And if they do it, it requires a pretty significant financial hit to us employing cross guards, assuming they're not gonna offset those costs. So I mean, it's definitely not for nothing.
So I think we just,
Not to mention the traffic headaches.
yeah,
It seems like resistance to it is more of a personal thing, showing up to the city meetings and
yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, the roundabout and whether it gets approved is the city's deal.
Yeah.
But we have to negotiate with the city on if they're implementing it, how is it gonna be implemented? So we just have to figure out how we wanna work with them on that. So I think it's reasonable and it sounds like we have consensus that we're keeping the core of the message we have. We just want to scale back maybe the tone. So that it's just, hey,
or the, well, the content,
but we
so we're
need to
not
be-
making
Right.
Yeah.
claims that we can't back up.
Yeah,
Right.
if they come across as requests, not demands, 'cause the worst they can do is say no, and then we have to decide whether we wanna fight over it or not. But they might say yes, just to prevent any further PR problems, and then that was a fight, or a conversation definitely worth having.
So I'm sorry, my answer for my question is we're not sending this back to the attorney. We pay the attorney to do this work. So we're saying this work is no longer on the attorney's table. We're
I
going
think
to-
that at this point, it has become a board and district. Like, we got the framework we needed, we just now need to,
What was the reason for involving the attorney in the first place?
Well, normally, anytime that we are working intra-governmental, it's not something that we would put into writing because we don't want to we want to ensure that there is no mistake on what we're asking or what we're needing, right? And so we tend to allow the attorneys to put that in writing for us. And so therefore then, that way if there's anything that comes back, there isn't a hole, there hasn't been an issue with a legal issue. So I just wanna make sure that, you know, you wanna change the tone. I mean, tone is
It's not
subjective.
tone
I heard.
to me, and that's what I was
Yeah.
trying to clarify. I think it was poor argumentation and setting ourselves up to make claims that we were not defending adequately. And I would say legally, sure, the attorney did a fine job with that, but in terms of the argument that was presented, I think that was a concern Nick had demonstrated, had explained, and that was something that I felt was problematic.
Yeah, I was okay with with the way the letter was
Yeah, the
written.
tone
I just
was
wanna go, I mean, tone is one thing I guess you can debate, but the actual items that we specified in there, if we wanna reword that in some way, that's fine, but I think all the points that were made in the letter are appropriate.
So I think just for context, we're talking about like one sentence, right? And that was some reference to the potential that it was not as safe to use a roundabout in that space. And we don't really know whether it's safe. We don't even know the exact design of roundabout that's going to be used. And so I think there was just some discomfort in saying, well, we think it's less safe based on what? So that was really the whole issue. Otherwise, all the
That's exactly
demands, everything
it.
else is perfectly fine. We're talking about deleting one sentence, basically.
I thought it was a paragraph, but yeah, not remembering correctly.
I agree with that.
That's what I'm referring to.
So the board will redraft that. So I can let our attorney know that we won't be asking him to do anything.
I don't, what
Oh, I think you
legal
already did it.
ramifications do we have with deleting references to something that's? Chris?
I mean,
I'm not an attorney,
Advice?
so I'm not, I don't know if Nick wants to jump in there, but I tend to leave the legal aspect to the people that we pay them to do that.
so I guess what I would advise, just looking at the one that we have, I would pretty much take out everything from our primary concern to the word however, and just leave that last sentence and add it to the paragraph before. Because I think that's where most of the claims that and then it just goes straight into the, hey, this is what we're looking for. Does everyone have it open and looking at it?
No, trying to find it. Was July 31 the most recent? No, that was something else.
We gotta,
What was the date the most recent draft was
July
shared?
31st,
It was? Okay.
I think so.
Yeah.
July 30th is what I'm seeing.
Yeah, there's a couple. The fact we say critical
It's the same thread.
safety and
Yeah,
significant concerns, and then we don't back them up with data saying
Yes.
how they'd be considered critical or significant. That's,
I'm happy to fiddle with the language, and if you want to send it to the attorney for review with that, I don't know what that costs or if that's worth doing, but I think we need to just move forward as much as quickly as possible.
Okay. So do we have consensus to let Kristen kind of wordsmith that part, have the board review it, and then see if we'd either like to send it back to the attorney or just send it to the city at that point?
I'm comfortable with that.
Sure.
Yes, JJ.
I'm comfortable with it, except one thing I found that said, the district opposes the construction of the roundabout. I think we need to agree whether, as a board, we do or not, because this letter says it's speaking for us. Do we oppose it, or do we?
I oppose it strongly.
Okay.
And what is our goal with this letter? Which is what
Yeah.
we keep coming back to, is are we writing this letter to oppose it and express our requests?
I am personally indifferent. I don't care if a roundabout goes there, but I would say that as a whole, I don't think a roundabout really needs to go there, but I don't think that I want the district to take the position of we're openly opposing if the city wants to do an infrastructure project there.
I agree with that, I don't have
Right, we
enough.
can't stop them, but we can at least give our opinion that we oppose this, so.
I don't even think we have enough information to
I
know
don't-
what we're opposing
Exactly.
specifically. I mean, our
That's how I
duty as
feel.
board members is the safety of the students and the cost to us, you know, if this is built. We just don't have enough information to make an informed decision. So, you know, but these are things that we're concerned with. So, I mean, we should send that, but we shouldn't take an official position.
I agree with
I
that.
agree.
Yeah.
That's where it's coming from.
Okay, since we're discussing, we're having conversations about concerns, you could say that the district has concerns of the construction of the roundabout. However, blah, blah,
Sure.
blah, blah. So just we
If
take out
this
the.
goes
the-
forward.
Yeah, just take out the thing that we oppose it, we just have concerns about it, because then they can deal with that statement however they want.
All right, so I feel like we've got 5 at least minimum that aren't opposed, or not opposed or for it, but just doesn't really want the board to take a position on that issue. Just if you're doing it, hey, these are some things we'd like to see. Van Tate?
Yep.
Okay, so.
Not speaking for yourself, Lieutenant, with the fact.
Yeah. Okay, so it sounds like we've got consensus for that. So I do just have to say, do we have consensus for the board not to take either position and just to give them a list of requests that we'd like to see if there's a roundabout?
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So in that case, Kristen, if you could kind of work on that, and then we'll make sure we get it to the rest of the board as soon as we can.
Tomorrow.
Yep. And then we'll work on getting that out to the city once we kind of get that to you. Does that work?
Sure.
Okay.
I will need an editable draft, just because all I have is a PDF,
Are you
even if
able
it's
to-
a separate
How do you know?
Word document, whatever.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm just
Send
wondering, do you have the ability to make it so that it's an editable document?
Oh, no, it just can't be a PDF.
Okay.
Yeah,
It just needs to be like Word, or whatever you,
I don't have that,
Drafted it.
but we can get that from the attorney.
Okay, yep.
and I'll
I
track
mean, could we
changes.
get, thank you.
Yeah, I'll track changes, so it's easier for everybody to
And
review.
then, did you feel that we're at the point where we need to discuss the one at Dresser and Normal yet, or?
The one on Dresser and Normal, we don't have all the information on, and the only thing that it feels like is that it is kind of in a rush to get our response for it. And since we just learned about this yesterday, I'm not comfortable being able to move forward
Yeah.
one way or the other.
Yep, nope, absolutely, I just wanted to check.
I know
with you.
that Tammy's working on getting some information for us, and you have it already? You wanna share what you learned?
Thanks.
The question that was brought to me that I took to our district architect was, would the piece of property that they are requesting impact the potential building that we are considering, the size of the building, the design and that, and the surrounding property that would support our students for the ELDC.
For the
that we-
ELDC.
For the ELDC that we've been just starting to discuss. And the response back from the architect was, it will not impact that. So that's not something we have to consider in the discussion.
So then the only other thing I would have question on, so that's part A, thank you very much. Part B is going to be around the fact of that safety and security. So we have the ELDC on one side and the high school on the other, and a lot of walkers in between. So having a bus terminal sort of turnabout thing, I'm going to probably say we'll probably have some safety concerns about that too, as our students are walking to and from either home and school or between the two buildings as needed, and just the amount of transportation that'll be going through there over time. So that would be, right now, that would be the additional questions I have.
Nope, absolutely. All right, and then on to the second item, could you give us just a quick synopsis, financial wise, kind of on transportation and busing?
So I'm going to have actually Amir step up to the front as well. So we are on the verge of, we're wait and see, you know, we do that quite a bit, wait and see.
I'm gonna leave now.
Oh, you are, okay.
I was just waiting for a perfect gap. Thank you guys. Good night.
Good night, good night. So what we do know is that the amount of funding that we normally get from the state to cover the difference between the money we use locally from our tax dollars to pay the full bill of transportation, which is the majority of it from federal to state. We're going to receive a cut. So we are at a 29% loss at the money that we get for the state level on general public transportation, not public, general transportation. General means general classes, and then we're at a 39% loss for our students with disabilities, their transportation. So overall speaking, the amounts of dollars, I don't have that in front of me, but I know Amir can whip those up really quick. So we do have that loss that we need to make up for it. As you will recall, during our levying last year for taxes, we asked for a little bit of cushion. Had we had the cushion, we would have been able to kind of take it. Now we have no cushion to be able to take on the loss of that funding. So we will have to, and in essence, really rob Peter to pay Paul. So we'll have to take it from something else to be able to cover that loss that we're not getting from the state. So Amir, if you want to give a little bit more detailed synopsis of the funding that we're not getting and what our costs are. I do want to say the bill for transportation as it currently stands is about $8.9 million.
Correct.
That for all of our transportation,
That would
correct?
cover all transportation.
Okay,
yeah.
thank you. Go ahead.
So, yeah, and as Minerva mentioned, the way that we fund our transportation services is the biggest service for the district. I mean, it's 8.9 million. It is about 76 routes. We're transporting every attendance day, about 174 days, back and forth, about 4,500 students. So it is a major service that we're doing. Our current contractor for student has an increase rate of about 12.9% for the upcoming year. The good news is that with the district boundaries realignments, we should be able to cut about 10% of that service. That's not nearly enough as, let's say, it would cover the state's backing down from reimbursing us. So the way that we fund transportation is a combination of property taxes and state mileage reimbursement. At this point, we are looking, it is about 40% is paid by the property taxes or less, and then the rest is, we normally would be covered by the state reimbursement. However, by looking at it, we're seeing about $1.9 million to fill from this, what the state reimbursement would have paid us. The way that we are looking at it right now is to, as Minerva mentioned, rob Peter to pay Paul, is taking out from the EBF, which is a discretionary fund from the state. We get about 57 million from it. Normally we would put it, let's say, in educational funds, but we could set aside this much to cover that gap that is happening in the hopes that in the next years, the state will actually reimburse us at 100%.
So, Amir, and Minerva as well, I received a text from a resident saying that we removed the services that we had, that she had last year.
And
So, have we actually made the decisions to drop some of these services, or are we still at the point of trying to figure out how to pay for the services that we're doing?
So at this time, because of the realignment of the boundaries, there should be, we don't know the exact situation or the exact instance there. Right now, we're still setting up routes. Parents, I have ongoing been requesting services. Some of them that, let's say, fall within 1.5 miles of their current new boundary may not have the same service that they had previously. We have removed overflows, so that's something that they're going back to their neighboring or their boundary-related schools. So it's difficult to tell exactly what that instance is, but it's still not set, the transportation services.
Right, so in general, we're not removing anything, we're still trying to figure out how to pay for everything we're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
You
So
can't,
what,
you can't tell me what I'm gonna answer the person who contacted me until we talk later.
yeah, until I get to
But-
know the
but
exact
we're-
situation.
there wasn't a decision to remove some sort of service other than boundary services, I get that.
Right,
But
so
some others-
a lot of this is state obligations and regulations that we have to follow, so that doesn't change.
Thank you.
So I guess that kind of leads us into the next portion of the discussion, as many of us have obviously read and gone over in the emails and conversations. We are currently providing above the required minimum and busing service for students that attend St. Mary's. And there is lots of discussion on, well, we didn't know that we were providing those services, and now that we do, figuring out, since we're going above our legal required minimum, in school board policy and school code, both state that non-public school transportation is a decision that the board has to make. And we don't have any standing agreement with St. Mary's, we have to create an agreement, the same way we didn't have anything with the YMCA. We need to know how we're gonna operate with St. Mary's on that, so. And I don't necessarily know that the board needs to make any decisions at this moment. We've got this first semester to kind of figure out, but as Steve and Vante can tell you, I know this is you guys' first go around on the board, that school year will start to fly by, and next thing you know, you're gonna be at graduation again in May. So we definitely need to start to be cognizant of, hey, what do we want this relationship to look like? So I guess I'll just start with my position. I am a very devout Catholic myself. I'm the head of the Knights of Columbus Council. We give a lot of money to St. Mary's every single year. It's a place that I love and support. But my duty as a board member is to have a fiduciary obligation to our students in our district. And school code is very clear on what is our legal requirement. And I do believe that when you choose to send your children to a non-public school, you do choose to sacrifice some of those public school perks that you get. So I am personally not in favor of us doing anything above what is our legal required minimum.
Amelia, you can sit down.
I am still awaiting an answer to my questions about, because I think to discuss this, it would be helpful to know what exactly it would cost to continue what we've been doing, because apparently it's been happening for like 30 years or something. I don't know, but I have not gotten.
It's $60,000.
I wanna see it, and I wanna see the
We
breakdown.
definitely have gotten emails.
I
Because
think,
that is like, I don't understand where that cost is coming from based on what those routes are and what I've been told.
I understand the urgency to try to get this answered here, but I kind of agree that we have questions out there that haven't been answered. If we can make this an agenda item to talk about, and the urgency to solve the problem, yes, but we're not gonna be able to solve it now.
Right.
And in fairness, I mean, if any organization that we were cooperating with dropped something in July that changed what was gonna happen in the middle of August, we would be having a fit too. So I understand where St. Mary's reaction was. I think we need to get on it to try to solve it by hopefully middle of the semester, so we can give them more warning to prepare for it.
Well, that's basically what we agreed to do, right? We're giving,
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
giving-
they're giving
yeah.
a service for the first semester while we try to work something out.
Right.
From my position, I agree with Chris, when you go to a private school, you lose out on some of the perks. And one of the reasons why the school code requires them to get, St. Mary students can ride our buses as long as it's on our general routes. That's in part considering that these kids live in the district, their parents are paying property taxes wherever they live, so they get that perk. But what's happening now is an additional service is being provided that's not even a service that kids that go to DeKalb schools get. And so we're essentially subsidizing private education with public funds if we continue to offer that route. And so I think because we have a duty as board members to the students within District 428, we are obliged to either end that service, or if there is some net zero cost to the district that just requires changing buses or something, we'll explore those options, but as a district, we can't subsidize transportation costs for students that don't attend district schools. I think it's pretty straightforward.
I just wanna say I agree completely, but I don't know that we've gotten that information about what that extra thing is, because I'm hearing different stories.
My recollection from the email was
About-
2 shuttles were going.
That's
from
the language
Monday or
that's being
something.
used, but I'm hearing very different perspectives. And so I want to see how are we constituting these things, and I just wanna see how are we defining it as a shuttle, based on the fact that I'm hearing from other community members that the arrangements are actually not, it doesn't sound like they have the same understanding of them. But I am not saying that I disagree with you either.
And I think that's what they're gonna work out during this first semester. The transportation folks can figure out what works with that.
And I want to concur with Nick and Chris. I don't know if there's something, and this is something we could talk about in our future discussions, is some sort of fee arrangement to maintain the routes and come up with some sort of financing, so we're not responsible for the money, so.
And I believe, some other options have been thrown around.
Okay, so do we have consensus to fact find, get all this information in one kind of consolidated spot from the district so that we can really dive in, review, understand exactly what's going on, so we can come back later this semester to make a decision?
Yes.
Yes.
In that case, we've reached the end of the agenda. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.